Hello, what's up, YouTubers? Right, so a very simple explanation here, as quick as I possibly can to cut down on the bullshit. Um, what do we want? We want a 3-position rotary switch to activate the LED light bar that I've just installed on my Ford Transit MK7. There's a lot of videos online, but they're only using toggle switches. So this is what I have done. I bought this light here from eBay. I will include links in the description. The light, even though it states that at 12 volts you do not get illumination on here, you actually do. So I've included that in this video, and this is what it would look like, green or red, depending which color you go for. I went for green. Also, if you're installing this on a Ford Transit MK7, this actually fits perfectly into one of those little buttons just where the ESP is. So I'll explain that later in the videos, but I'll just get straight into it now. This is essentially what the light looks like. It's got 3 positions, on, off, and on. So that's really, really good if you want to have, say, the light beams on all the time or just with the high beams, which is what I'm going to talk about here. So on the back of this rotary switch, you're going to have the following. You're going to have NC, NO, and C. You're also going to have a positive and a negative terminal. Now these positive and negative terminals, this is what controls the light for the rotary switch. The others, this is what essentially switches the power between the 3 positions. Now the three positions I've marked here are 1, 0, and 2. So 0 is off, 1 is, let's say, for example, on all the time, and 2 is, let's say, triggered power or the high beams. This is a summary of the loom that you get. Well, I got with my light bar. I'm pretty sure most of the systems that you're going to get and you're going to buy online are going to follow this. Every video I've seen online has followed this, and I'll just talk through that quickly now. So on this loom that you're going to get, now if you order a light bar, this is probably how it's going to come. So what's happening here? These 2 terminals, red and black, the red positive is going to connect via a fuse terminal to this relay. And this is the main power source to your relay wiring. So power comes in on 30, obviously through a fuse. It's looking for a trigger here, and then it's going to go straight through to the light bar. It can only do that if the button here is pressed on this light bar switching. Yeah, so let's keep going. So from the switch, from on the back of this relay that you're going to get, it's very, very likely going to look like this. So from 30, there is going to be a small white lead, which is going to connect through into this little button switch here. This will provide power or trigger power. So once you press this button down here, power will be sent through to number 86, which will close this switch, and then it will illuminate your light bar. So that's it. And the negative wire, obviously for these LEDs, will run back to the ground on the relay. If you look at the back, if you've already bought one of these, take a look at the back, have a look at this video, and it should almost be the same. I can't guarantee it, but this is essentially the very likely thing you're going to get. So what did I want to do? What I wanted to do was have the LED light on the back of this rotary switch turn on whenever there was power to the light bar. So always on, I wanted to have a light, or when I was flicking the high beams or keeping the high beams on, I wanted to see that green light on the rotary switch. In order to do that, you have to run a wire to this positive terminal at all times. To do that, when I got this rotary switch, I put a multimeter. I was checking the continuity, looking for a beat between these terminals, and essentially it goes between NO and C. There was one between NC and C, but I couldn't get it to work all the time. But this is how I've done it in this video. This is the way I know it's going to work if you follow it. So here, really clear explanation. Position 1, you're going to have positive, and you want a positive wire, you want NO, and then you want C. 0 is nothing, and it's the opposite of number 1 on number 2. You see, so there's always power on the positive, and you're essentially just switching between NO and C on both those terminals. So how I did it, I want a common wire between the positive, the 2 C's. So you want to take 3 wires and then link them all together. So this will essentially be the blue wire from this button switch here. Your trigger wire, essentially what you want to send power to this light bar, or which is going to trigger the relay, which is going to send power to the LED and the light bar, is your first position will be from the battery. So I wire mine up slightly differently. You can either take it from the battery, or from what I've done is use one of those DC fuse boxes and just taken another power from that. I'll show you later on. And then the other wire has come from the high beams. So that's come from the high beams, just as I showed you earlier. So just to summarize, you want one common blue wire between the C's and the positive, and then your trigger wires, one from the battery being on all the time, and the other being from the high beams. You need to run from the fuse box in your cab, and then run one of those little T-piece adapters all the way to there, and then that will be able to switch between 1 and 2, the light on the LED rotary switch only coming on when there's power from one of those two sources. So yeah, let's have a look at the video. And that's essentially both of them there connected. Nope, crazies. Okay, so this has taken me all day, but the switch is now wired. So if we switch to the left here, let me just hold it up. Switch it to the left. Light bar is permanently on. If we switch it to the middle, it's off. And if you switch it to the right, it's off. But as you activate the high beams, which is this light here, it switches the light on and the light bar on at the same time. Okay, so I'll just talk you through what I've done here. There's my dog's nose sneaking into the garage. The power from the light bar comes with two spade connectors. This is a standard kit I got online. Red and black here, red and black from the unit. This links through this small loom here into the relay. You can see a black and red coming through here. Now that is the power from, the power to the light bar from the relay. This is the relay itself. So this is all standard kit that comes with it. So the modification I've made is, you see these blue and white wires here. Now this ran into a switch here, which I've disconnected. Now this switch you could click on and off. It had two LEDs, green or red, say whether it was on or off. I've removed this because I wanted to put a rotary switch, which I've spent all day messing around with, which is what I'm going to explain to you today. Now this black facade here has come from a Ford Transit 2009 MK7 with a sort of dummy panel button. So I've removed this and found a small rotary switch which I found online, which is a on, off, on.
So that's off, on, off, and that's on. Now the issue I was having is I wanted one side to be permanently on, which would be that side, and the other side to only come on with the high beams. Now I've seen a lot of videos online, but they only cover a standard toggle switch, which is left, right, left. Now I wanted to have a rotary switch to fit here, safer. I didn't want to be able to catching it with my hand as I was driving. So this works really well. Now this said it was a 12 volts. Okay, so I'll just run through this really slowly. So this is the switch in its upright position where it's going to be mounted. And if you come around to the back, this is the rotary switch. So you have the negative on this side. This is for the actual LED light. Apologise about the scabby finger. This is the positive. So this is the positive that's going to light up the green LED. And then if you follow here, so this white switch which comes to the top left, this goes, this will be to the high beam trigger. The white, which is the permanent on, is there, but you can see they both go into the top position. Now in the middle, apologies about the dogs, in the middle are the blues, and the blues connect to the blue wire on this from the switch, from the actual relay, and into there I've tied in the positive wire. So whenever I trigger with the white, it triggers or energizes the LED on the actual button, which is what I want. So it's just how I want it. And then there you go, there you position. So it can be done, there's not much about it online, so if this is the way you want to go, this is how I've done it, and you know, good luck and Godspeed. It does help to have a bench power supply and a few of these little toggle switches to play around with. Always best as well to try everything before you install it, so you don't come across these headaches. What I made this morning as well, I just wired on a few small little tails to this toggle switch because it didn't come with any, so I had to solder these on, and then I put some heat shrink around it. It was really annoying and messy. It's very fiddly, as you can see, a lot of scorch and burn marks there where the solder's gone on it, but the continuity of the solder was really good. I also used some flux. If you don't have any flux, I'd recommend getting some for any soldering. It does make it a lot easier. Just get it from Screwfix or something, or online. And then on these tails, I've just for now put these temporary little slide-on little clip connectors, but I'll use these small heat shrinks, these small shrink tubes here. So use these. I think these are the best way for a permanent solution anyway. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, I'm not sure, but as long as your wires are long enough so you can pull it out and repair it at some point, it shouldn't be too bad. So that's why I've left a little 100mm tail on these, just for trial purposes. Also, just so you can see, in this Ford Transit, this is where I've removed this piece of plastic, and in there I'll feed in the switch that I've just made. Excuse me, I'm getting attacked by dogs here. Yeah, so I'll feed them in there, and then I'll have my high beam switch just next to me, and they can just drill through the hole, filed it out, and yeah, it should be good to go. Happy days. I have the main power wires for the fuse box connected to the batteries. This runs up here through into the back of my distribution board. Red on positive, brown, which is supposed to be black but I didn't have black wire, on negative. 3 negative or grounds coming from all the equipment. Power in the top going to the light, power source coming from the main fuse box. So when I turn the engine on, that light should come on. There, that should be red. Hopefully this works. And then if I turn it to the left or right on this green button, that should also light up. But I have no idea what's going to happen. Please nothing burn, blow up or break. Okay, it's still in gear. Let's just take that out of reverse gear quickly. Oh. So, let's check the light. We have no light. Maybe it lights up when it's blown, I don't know. Let's try the button. To the left. Hey, it fucking works! Oh my god! And then to the right, it should be nothing unless high beams. Hell yeah, baby! Hell yeah! There we go. It worked. Nice.